Welcome to the What's Lacking podcast. It's your host, Larry Atencia. With me today is Sergio Peña. How old are you and where are you from?
What up? Believe it or not, I'm 40, but I act 20. I was born in Texas, grew up in New Mexico. Now I'm back in Texas, Dallas, Texas. 10 years.
Is that the place that you foresee being home for the rest of your life or
Yeah,
not
man,
really?
Dallas has been good
Yeah,
to me. Life is good here. I like it. I'm happy mentally, financially. What more can you ask for?
yeah. And I know we met in the Bay Area. So how about California? How was your experience there? You also had lived in LA for a little bit. Care to share a little bit about your experience in LA and the Bay Area?
Oh, I love California. But I was in my 20s when I lived there. I was broke, so I didn't get to enjoy the stuff I'm enjoying now. But it was a good experience, especially in your 20s. You get to like learn a lot about yourself, survival mode. Are you gonna get by? But I mean, it would have been cool to live there. The financial means I have now, I wonder how good or different it would have been. But yeah, LA was cool. I was only there for a year, and then I moved to the Bay where I met you. I think I was there 4 years. We met through a mutual friend. The Bay was cool, but yeah, I was barely getting by. Like whenever
Okay.
you and I would go out, man, I need to get a PBR beer because I can't afford the whatever local beer they had.
That's what I would get. Yeah, PBRs.
Yeah, right. Because those were the
PBR
tall boys.
PBR Poppy. Yeah, but I mean, you were barely scraping by, but it probably had to do with the rents and just the cost of living of the Bay Area, right? Or
Nah, it wasn't even that bad back then. When we were there, as the cost now, from what I've heard, is obviously higher everywhere, but it wasn't that bad back then. Because I
okay,
mean, I'm 40. I've been here 10 years. New Mexico, another 3 before. From the California, went back to New Mexico. Man, how long ago was that we're in the Bay?
I got there in 2008, and I think we met. Yeah, that same year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so I was in LA. I was working at Barnes and Nobles, young buck. I went out there to try to work in the music industry as a recording engineer, and then I ended up in the Bay Area because I sold a song. I used to write music, and then I hit up this record label through MySpace. They bought my song for like $300. I was excited. I was like, what?
You could you
And
you
then
could have negotiated that a little bit higher.
dude, I was desperate. I
Yeah,
was
go ahead. Sorry.
desperate. And then I asked, I was like, hey, can I do an internship? And they're like, well, we don't pay. I'm like, I don't care. That's fine. That's cool. And then I transferred to Barnes and Noble to the Bay Area, started interning for that record label, learned a lot from the record label, got to travel a lot, hung out with some D celebrities, not even C, D. And yeah, it was fun. And then I got to meet all of y'all through my friend that's from New Mexico as well. Got to meet all you smart fucks. It was cool. It was a cool experience just to.
Don't include me in the smart
Oh, you didn't go to
fucks
that school, huh?
group. Yeah, I didn't go to that school.
Oh, my bad. But you're pretty smart.
I mean, not like those guys. Those guys went to Stanford, and that was their clique. Very
Yeah.
smart Stanford graduates. I went to mid-tier state school. It's all good,
Where'd you
not a
go?
problem. But Temple,
Where's that?
Philadelphia. You're showing your West Coast bias that you don't know Temple from the East Coast. It's all good though.
I don't have
But yeah,
much
so
East Coast experience. No, I mean, I went to New Mexico State University, so shit. I mean, it was in the city that I grew up in, so I just went to the local college. Yeah, it was cool like to meet all these. Our mutual friend Anthony, he went to
mhm.
Stanford, and then I met all his friends. So that was kind of like, oh, you always hear about Stanford. You're like, damn, these guys went to Stanford, but they weren't really that smart.
I think they're
I mean,
pretty
they were
good.
normal people. I'm sure
They're
they're
right,
smart in their
exactly.
field. They're smart in their field.
Yeah, yeah, I
Other
see
than
what you're
that, you're
saying.
like, ah.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
guys
I
are
see what you're saying.
disgusting. Their house,
You know they
disgusting,
might,
bro.
they might listen to this episode, right, Sergio?
Good.
Or you
I'm
don't
glad.
care about burning any bridges?
No, they know
No,
that's a fact. That
that's
carpet was
that's true.
disgusting. Hopefully they're clean now and they don't have carpet. They have hardwood floor and yeah, no, but those guys were fun. I do miss those guys. They were cool. I haven't talked to them in a while. Yeah, they're cool people. They don't care.
To be, nah,
They talk shit too.
I was messing with you, but to be fair, both of us were pretty organized and orderly as men in our 20s, compared to the majority or the stereotype of men. So
Yeah, we were, right?
I think so. Now you said you had sold a song to a record label that worked with this Mexican American rapper that had like a hit, two hits
Yeah, yeah.
during
I'm
that
gonna
era.
make
What
you
was his
guess.
name? Forgot.
Keep guessing.
No. I
Dude, you're
forgot.
showing your bias. You're showing your bias.
No,
You
because
don't listen to Mexican rappers, bro.
I don't even listen to rap like when we were hanging out. So
Really?
yeah,
Damn,
I
dude,
just
you
stopped.
changed, bro.
I've changed a lot, man. You know, it's different.
Okay, one of the words is sugar in the song.
Like I have the image of the
It's two
rapper in my head.
words.
You know?
One of the original babies in the rap name. Baby
Oh,
Bash. Sugar, sugar,
there
how
you
you
go.
get so fly? Sugar,
Yeah.
sugar, how you get so fly? Yeah, he was our biggest artist. He had also Cyclone with T-Pain. Body like a cyclone. He had a few other hits. He had the song with Akon. It was in the Karate Kid movie with
hmm
Jaden Smith. He had a song with Sean Kingston. It's crazy. He's worked with a lot of artists. Pitbull,
Yeah,
Jennifer Lopez. He
he
has
was
an
popping in that
interesting.
era.
Yeah, I've had friends that like remind me of that. They're like, "Where's that guy at?" And it's crazy because I just saw him like 2 months ago. He invited me. He was performing here in Dallas. It was actually real like nice of him because I haven't talked to him in years. He's like,
Yeah,
"Hey, bro, you
man.
want to sing through?" I'm like, "All right." I was going to Chris Brown concert with my sister, and I had to diss her because I was like, "I haven't seen this guy in a while." Yeah, so it was cool. It was cool. Who else was there? Little Rob was also there. He's more
Yeah,
West Coast. His biggest song was "Summer Nights."
yeah,
And
that was a dope song too with the nice video too.
every summer, someone's posting it on their Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yep.
was the Summer Night song. We had Amanda Perez. She did God Show Me an Angel. And
Mm-hmm.
they're all Latin artists. Frankie J.
Frankie, yeah, yo, you. That sounds like the label for Chicano, Mexican American hip hop R and
Yeah,
B
no, it was
artists
cool. But I got there at the end of their like
of the
career.
run.
Yeah, so it was like it was still cool, but also it was like I didn't get to see like a lot of the big stuff. But it was still fun. I mean, coming from a
Yeah.
small city, you're like, oh, this is cool. And everybody in your small town's like, oh, you made it. And I'm like barely getting by. People back home think you're like a big deal, but you're not. Broke, drinking PBRs.
Adios, the drink that you put me on to. I was
Did I
dangerous.
not? Was that me?
I think so.
that was
Yeah, the blue
Mattel.
one, right? So it was like a Long Island iced tea, and then they would add a hypnotic, right?
I don't
Am
think
I-
that was me. I think that was Juan that got us on that.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to Juan, one of my favorite people ever.
That guy's hilarious.
Yes.
He makes me laugh. Oh yeah, so I worked for that record label. I don't know where I was going on with that, but yeah, it was cool. It was through the end of the career, but I still had fun. I got to travel. I was doing marketing for them. I was recording out of my bedroom. Like we're like broke. No, I don't know. The label guy was just cheap. He didn't know how to transition from CDs to streaming. That's where we were at. So
okay.
man, it got to the point where like little Rob moved from San Diego to the Bay. He was living with me. I was sleeping on the couch. He was sleeping in my room. We were recording his mixtape in my living room. It was an interesting time in my life. People sometimes bring it up. I'm like, yeah, I guess that was cool. I was aiming to be in the record industry, and I got a little bite of it.
You also wanted to be an artist. You care telling us a little bit about that or not?
Yeah, fuck it. And I'm wearing glasses because I worked last night. Then I worked this morning. So I'm like, my eyes are tired, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I appreciate you coming through and doing the podcast.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Are we doing
sacrifice?
audio? Can we do audio only? Because I didn't know what was happening. So yeah, I went to school for marketing. I didn't really care. I mean, I guess it kind of helps out now. I wanted to be in the music industry, like behind the scenes, just behind the scenes. I never wanted to be in front. But then I went to school for it. I learned old school recording, and it was in that transition of digital. I kind of learned old school recording. The school that I went to, it was like a 1-year vocational school. And then when I moved back to New Mexico, because that school was actually here in Dallas, full circle with Dallas, and then bought Pro Tools, which is like the industry standard for now. And I love rap music. Like I grew up on hip hop, and I was like, I had access to recording myself without embarrassing myself, without anyone seeing me. So I just started messing around, started recording. I was like, oh, I'm actually decent. I was like a kind of a silly rapper. Like I didn't have much to talk about. I just enjoyed creating something to nothing. Did that for a while. I pushed, oh, you know what? Hold on. Oh, I keep these as reminders. This is my first CD, still packaged up.
Okay.
Selling that on eBay. I'm gonna sign it. Here's my other CD. We were pretty professional. Look at this.
Yeah, that's the one that I had in my car. I listened to it.
Oh, it's embarrassing to hear it now. But yeah, man, me and my friends used to go to the flea markets, and we would fucking sell those for $10. And we make, for being young, we made like $300 to $500 every weekend. We sold those. These cost like $1 to make. Ordered 1,000. And we pushed those. But yeah, did that for a while. And I was just like, as I get older, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'll be rapping in my car by myself, but like it's just for the fun of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, that was my little run at doing hip hop. I went by L Surge. Some people still remind me. I was at my friend's in Austin, and I went for her birthday. Her two friends were there, and she's like, "Hey, Surge, remember when you used to rap?" It's embarrassing, dude. Like, I'm like,
Not
yeah.
embarrassing. Like it was a good run. Like open up
Yeah, but I
opportunities.
don't want to talk about that.
That's
It's
why I
kind of
asked
funny.
you if you wanted to share. So,
Well, this is
um,
funny. I mean, like I'm enjoying
yeah.
that you asked me to be in this podcast of yours. So I'm like, yeah, let's talk about it. I love when people are vulnerable and talk whatever. So yeah, it is embarrassing when someone brings it up or plays my songs. It's like when someone shows baby pictures or young pictures in middle school. It's like, mom, put those away, mom.
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean?
That's not even a person I recognize anymore. Or I've
Yeah, that's
changed so
not me. They
much.
picked these up at Hastings, Sam Goody, Blockbuster. There's a few songs where I'm still proud of them, but then there's a few
Okay.
where like I actually have two songs on professional, like all the streaming sites,
Hmm.
where I like professionally recorded it, mastered it. But I spent like $1,000 on both those songs. Like I rented out the beat. I don't even own the beat. I rented the beat. 'Cause man, when you're being an artist is hard. Like you're just spending
Yeah.
money. I make
Hmm.
like $5 to $10 a year from random streams.
Yeah.
I don't know who's listening to it. Yeah, I have not made that money back.
I'll put a link on
No, do
on
not. Well,
on.
you know what? Fuck yeah.
You did make the money back in the sense that you were able to recoup some of the investments by selling the actual hard copies at the flea markets.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Like one thing is like I love being an artist, but I also like working and making money.
yeah,
So like with
exactly.
being an artist, like you put so much input with very little financial output. You know what I mean? You
Unless
spend
you're one of
hours.
that, super elite, top of the pyramid type of artists, there's just a really big group underneath that are not making any sort of, livable income from their artistic pursuits.
And it's crazy because like if you go to like a local bar and there's like a band or a local singer and they're really, really good, like way better than me. And it's like nobody knows this person.
Yeah,
So it's just crazy. You never know who's gonna make it. And then you also have artists that
it's
are
true.
not very good, but they have this like mentality where they don't care. It's like they don't have the social awareness. They don't give a damn. They
But their
just
confidence is out of this world. And
dude,
yeah,
it is
yeah,
crazy. I admire those people. I don't have that.
yeah.
Like I'm
It's just
hiding behind glasses.
it's this combination of talent plus charisma plus networking and social skills. And I guess not everyone has the proper amount of all of those factors to actually, make it at the level that a lot of these people do, right? Because
Yeah.
it can't just be talent. It has to be something else.
Well, there's a saying that I heard, something about luck, like opportunity meets something. I don't know.
Preparation. Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that. What is it?
I love
Opportunity
it.
meets what?
Luck is the combination of opportunity with preparation, something like that. So it's like
Yeah.
you have to be prepared when the moment arises that is going to be the one that's going to propel you to that successful level.
Exactly.
But if you're not
Yeah.
prepared and it's there, and you won't be able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to take chances. I mean, I took a
Mm.
chance. I DM'd some, like I wasn't aiming for the big labels. I was aiming for like the more accessible labels.
Mhm.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna DM these songs that I wrote, and I mean, I took a chance and I sold a song. So yeah, you never know. You just got to push yourself out there, not be embarrassed. Now that I'm obviously 40, that mentality's not there anymore.
You want stability, consistency.
I like knowing
Yeah.
now that if I do a project, I'm gonna get money. Like I
Yeah.
really like money.
On that note, what do you do for a living?
I'm a communication coordinator for a church. It's a random job. Never thought I'd be working for a church. When I moved out to Dallas, I was convinced by my sister, and her friend was a job recruiter, and I had gone to school for marketing, and I was pretty tech savvy. And this church needed somebody to do all the behind the scenes graphics, social media, website, their video streaming, all that stuff. Like that's stuff I like anyways. They needed someone for 3 months, and I've been there 9 to 10 years, which
Yeah.
is crazy. I took a chance. One of those things where I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. And it's actually been good to me. Like I do the behind the scenes. I don't really deal with people. Just email. I love this new age where the communication is like all online. Like, so that's what I do. I work for a church. And then on top of that, I help a friend that I actually met through a church. He was a youth minister. He started a photo booth company. So I help him do that on the side, which is a nice balance because at the church, I'm behind the computer all week just
Mm.
by myself, isolated, which I like. With the photo booth, I'm around people, putting on my little customer service voice, seeing new places, got to explore Dallas. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was at the Dallas Cowboys AT&T Stadium in the center of the
Nice.
field. I love my little side hustle for that, and I like making money because that's my, I don't give a damn where I spend that money versus my full-time job.
Would you say that you're an introvert or an extrovert?
I feel like I'm a social person, but man, like I definitely love a
Recharge those
lot of my me time.
batteries to be able to
Oh,
then be around
like
people.
I definitely do like my me time. I mean, I'm 40. I know it's on your question, but yeah, I've never been married. I don't have any
Okay.
kids because I do like my doing whatever I want, whether it's going out, whether it's staying home. I like giving a little bit of attention to different people for a little bit. Being around someone all the time is just crazy to me.
It sounds like it's also not in your future plans to get married or have children or just, settle down.
I mean, I'm not against any of that stuff. I'm not going to force it just because I'm like, oh crap, I'm 40 years old. I need to find the next person and just make it happen. I'm very nonchalant with stuff like that. Like, I'm never like, oh, I really got to have a kid, but also I'm not against, I'm open to dating, but I'm not going to force it. If I meet someone, I meet someone. If I don't, I don't. Like, I'm very content with life. I've been in relationships, a few long term. I guess 3 years is like the longest. Yeah, I'm happier single than being in a relationship. And being in a relationship is stressful. Look at Larry. Look how skinny Larry is, bro. He's stressing. He still has his
uh,
hairline though.
I will give you, even though I'm in a committed long term relationship with Paula, my partner, and when we have a kid, it's hard. And we love each other. We are committed to making it work. But every few weeks, every month, there's this blow up or difficult conversation and resentment that arises based on the most mundane of things. And so it's definitely a matter of making the best of the choices and decisions that you make about your own life. So I've said this before, but I think there is no wrong answer in terms of what you choose to do. Like, some people prioritize autonomy and freedom and the sort of peace that comes from not having to fully be engaged and committed to another person. But there's also something to be said for the stability, consistency, and the depth of love that one can achieve, and the growth of your own family, and just having that identity as a father, as a partner, etc. That also, I think, sometimes adds a great depth to life that maybe the other one doesn't. But it's a trade-off, like everything else.
And it's probably rewarding, right?
I would say so,
You're
for
like,
sure.
damn, we've been together this long. That's my girl. She
Was
met you
out.
fat.
She got me fat first, and now she got me skinny. So it's like, it's a roller coaster, emotionally and physically. Before I got with her, the longest relationship I had been in was 3 years, similar to
Yeah.
you. And this is the first one that's gone over 3 years. And yeah, transitioning a bit. What were your parents like growing up?
My parents were cool. My mom would stay at home, but she also ran the childcare out of the house, which was pretty smart. She took care of her kids and made money. So we always had little ones around. So I have two older sisters, but I always feel like the only child because the middle one is 8 years older than me. The much older one is 10 years older than me. There's a big age gap. My dad was always working, rarely home. He was definitely the financial provider to this day. Loves working. He's like me. I think that's how we keep ourselves occupied from thinking about life stress. I do notice that I get a lot from my dad where we just like work a lot. I mean, he likes money. I like money. But we also like staying busy and doing something productive. But yeah, so my parents are still together. They're still in New Mexico, still alive, still with us. They're in their 70s, still healthy, active. Talk to my mama every day. My dad every once in a while. Not that we have a bad relationship or anything, but he's always working. He's just, to this day, he's always busy.
What did your
So I
dad
get
do?
to see. So growing up, he used to flip. Oh well, he started in construction. So he crossed over illegally when he was like in his 20s, and he went straight to Odessa, Texas. That's where I was born. And he just like, my dad's a hustler, man. He just went to this random mechanic shop. It's like, hey, you guys hiring? He had a little bit of skills. And then from there, he started doing construction. And then growing up, he used to flip water heaters and air conditioners. In Arizona and New Mexico, we have swamp coolers, which is controlled by wind and cold water. It's dry climate. So anyways, he would find these in the trash cans. I remember this. I used to be embarrassed. Like, damn, we're like trash digging out here.
Mm-hmm.
But man, people would throw away like pretty good water heaters and swamp coolers, and my dad would just like fix whatever little thing. It'd go from like free to like $350, and he'd easy flip it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was just crazy. So my dad was a hustler. I respect him for that. I used to help him do that shit. That shit's hard. I don't know why I hated doing that shit. Now he has a dump truck delivering dirt, working with construction
Mm-hmm.
companies that call him, and he's a happy man being behind that dump truck of his.
What's school like for you?
Oh, school, I didn't care for it. I was an ESL student. My first language was Spanish. So I don't know if I struggled with that. I don't know. Everything that I like finally understood about numbers or like art or grammar finally clicked in my like late 20s. I don't know why. I'm like, oh, this makes sense. Like it was just clarity. But when I was in school, I was just like, what is happening? Like it just nothing was processing. But now I'm just like, I wish I had that mind in my late 20s. Obviously you're older and growing. But man, it's just like it's not that hard. But I did also get diagnosed with ADD in college because I was struggling with like just paying attention, reading, like just like spaced out, so nothing would stay in, no retention. But man, yeah, school was I did a decent. You could say I was a C student. I got by. I was mostly focused on sports and girls. You know, when you're going through puberty, your whole aspect changes around that age.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. When you were diagnosed with ADD, were you on Adderall, or it was just diagnosed and you dealt with it naturally? Or
I did try some Adderall. I didn't know there was a lot of different types of Adderall. I wish I would have like kept going. I mean, it's not too late. I feel like I still have it. But yeah, the first batch that I tried, oh man, I did not like that feeling. I've never done like hardcore drugs and like people compare it to like cocaine or stuff like that. I didn't like that feeling, so I just quit it. I didn't even try other stuff. I was impatient and I just thought it wasn't for me.
what are your political views?
I'm in the middle, but I definitely lean towards left a little more. I do like reading about politics. I do vote. I feel like most of my voting's because I vote for the needs of others. Because I'm in the position. I mean, you know, some things will affect you. But for the most part, in my position, like I'm a guy. That's a big advantage. I'm single. I make money. Like taxes, I honestly don't care about paying taxes as long as it's going to like the right things. You know what I mean? So yeah, I lean left, but not too far left. I hate when people are too far left or too far right. Or
Moderate,
like,
centrist positions, reasonable, or taking the best of both and then coming to a centrist compromise about how things should operate.
I hate when people wear their political views on them. Like it's just crazy. Like especially in Texas, people have signs in their yards, on their vehicles. I'm like, why? Why? I mean, I get they're proud as like a team. No, even with teams, it's crazy. Like people that drive around with like a Dallas Cowboys wrap on their vehicle. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, there are people that just wear their pride of their team. It's so annoying. Even when people take like family pictures of their firstborn, they dress them in like their football team or their bat. I'm like, let that kid have a normal picture. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it is weird how people just censor certain things in their identity and it overwhelms everything else. So like you were saying, people wearing their political views just makes it sometimes awkward to have dialogue and conversations with them because you're automatically thinking about how they see the world from a perspective that is pretty stereotypical, right? Because you're not going to have a conversation with them about the nuances or complexity of their views. You're just saying, oh, wow, this person is super into, Trump or the Democrats. And now this conversation is awkward because I'm just trying to order a sandwich or I'm just trying to, ask you to please, if you're in line to pay for the groceries or you're just looking for cereal. So I think, maintain your views. Obviously, it's important for people, but also emphasize and centralize your individuality so that when you are engaging with others, it's a matter of seeing you as a person rather than as an extension of a particular brand or political view or sports team or, musical artist.
That is true. Yeah, you don't get to know a person. Like I already have an idea of what you are just based on stereotypes, which is so true, especially like Texas, the smaller towns. Like the big cities are pretty democratic, but man, the small town Texas, those are scary, man. Because I mean, like I live in a rich ass neighborhood. My salary comes I get to live in the house that the church owns. So I get a certain salary plus being able to live in the house. So I'm luckily able to live in this rich ass, beautiful neighborhood. And it's mostly white people. And they're, for the most part, like it's pretty cool because, I mean, you do see your Trump, MAGA, they got like a certain stereotype, right? You're just like, whoa, especially being one of the few. You know, I'm a light Mexican skin, but I still am a Mexican that they see compared to these people around here. But I do like even though there's people that wear it proudly, I do like seeing rich ass people the Kamala Harris signs, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As much as I'd rather not see either of them from either of them. I like that there's a pretty diverse neighborhood of like seeing both flags. But anyways, back to the small towns. Man, small towns, like in the gas stations, they be selling their little Trump, patriotic, like it's sad. Like I love living in America, and I especially like when you travel to other countries, you come back, you're like, damn, we have it pretty good here.
Yeah.
But man, I hate how the right have ruined being patriotic. You know what I mean? Like it just has like a weird, I don't know what the right word is, but it's.
Yeah, there's a connotation between patriotism and the idea of race, right? So it's like it makes people like me and you uncomfortable to sort of put our love of country in the forefront because it's going to come off as something that people associate with whiteness. And so they're looking at us like, you a sellout? Are you trying to be white? You don't accept yourself? When it should be detached from any idea of race, right?
Yeah.
And not to say that you can't be a white person who is patriotic, but the way that the connotations and associations are combined in the right with whiteness. And so it makes it hard for Latinos, Asians, Black people to also want to be part of that because it seems like there's this lack of embrace of different Americans, which, you know, to be fair, a lot of the rhetoric on the left is a bit anti-American. And so I think it has developed that way because they've pushed back being pro-American and going against a lot of the ideas in the liberal and Democratic Party about American imperialism and, you know, the country being established in slavery and the racism of Jim Crow and the anti-Mexican laws of California and the immigration policies that wouldn't allow any. It's a complex, nuanced conversation to have about how it's become associated with whiteness and Republican Party and small town America. But, you know, there's also a way in which a lot of the critiques from Latino, Black, and liberal Americans has led to that sort of reaction.
Oh, yeah, and it's pretty sad. I definitely have a different life from my cousins in Mexico. I'm grateful to be born here. I'm grateful to, you know, I've never lived in another country, so this is all I know. I've only traveled to 2 other countries, Mexico and Belize. You know, there's poor parts of America, obviously. There's good, and there's same like the other countries. There's the pretty and there's the ugly. Recently, I went to Mexico City. Man, like their sidewalks are so unfucking even, bro. It is crazy. And it's because they don't have that much codes as we have. Like we have so many codes, which is could be annoying, right?
Yeah,
like,
regulations.
You have your own house, you're like, oh, I gotta fucking ask the city if I could build a shed, and you know what I mean? But yeah, in Mexico, there's like these electric wires. I don't know what it is. There's some kind of wires. They don't take off the old ones. They just put the new ones. And now you just have like a bundle of wires in Mexico. And I was asking my friend who lives there. She's from here. She's been out there for like almost a year. I'm like, what is happening here? She's like, there's no codes. They just place it, get the new one, and they don't care about taking it down. I thought that was crazy. There's this comedian, you know, Mark Norman?
No.
Well, he went to Mexico City do a stand-up. He's like, man, there's some houses crumbling out here. They really should get some Mexicans to fix this. Which, ironically, and he was in Mexico City, so I guess they sent all the good ones to America. So that shit was crazy because I'm like, you know, we have the reputation of being hard workers and shit. When you go to Mexico City, you got uneven sidewalks, weird kind of like, I don't know, it's just different. It's just very different. Feels a little dirty in some areas. And like the Mexicans out here, they seem a little like more clean and stuff. So it's just like 2 different types of life. Seeing that and even seeing it in Belize, it's like, damn, I do like that we have all these codes and restrictions because people could be sloppy. And it could be annoying that we have so many rules, but it is nice to walk down the street that's pretty clean. You know what I mean? Like not trash and shit's even. So I love this country, and I hate that I feel like Trump has ruined that. I feel like he's very divisive. Hey, y'all want to vote for another Republican that's boring, at least that's not in the news all the time? By all means, you know what I mean? I hate that I have to know so many people in his party because they did something stupid. I'm like, why do I need to know about that guy? Yeah, politically, I do definitely lean left, especially this time around. I think Trump's very divisive. I hate the tension it brings upon the people in this country. Like, it's just sad. When I do meet like Republicans, man, they're all regular people. They're nice. I mean, maybe they have their own personal views of what they wouldn't share in front of me, but they treat me like a fine person. Like,
that's what I meant about emphasizing and keeping your individuality front and center. Because when you deal with people just as individuals, a lot of the tension and political friction that exists tends to go away. Because I'm looking at you as a person that I respect and as an equal outside of any label or outside of any disagreement that we may have. So the next question is, are you religious?
No. Like I said earlier, I think it's funny because I work at a church. All my friends that know me, they're like, fuck, you work at a church? And I'm not against religion. I mean, I grew up Catholic. I took things literal. So like thinking about hell and heaven, that shit was scary as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And then especially like being Catholic, you see like images of like this bleeding statue. And as a kid, you're like, oh my God, like you don't even know what to process because they take you to church young, right? Then they make you feel guilty as a Catholic. I remember when I first made out with a girl, I was young. Don't judge me. I was in 5th grade. Oh, dude, like I couldn't even enjoy it because after I started like praying, I did my Hail Marys. I thought it was like this big ass sin. I confessed that weekend. And that's just an example. So imagine me like learning about life and experiences. When I got around 18, like I started exploring other religions because I'm like, I thought everybody needed it. Like I thought it was mandatory, but I just hadn't found my right one. Okay. So I explored some just regular Christian church, a Buddhist church. And when I lived in LA, I used to pass by that big ass Scientology church. One day I just walked in there. I went there for like 2 weeks. I mean, not consistently, like a few days out of those 2 weeks. So like I was open-minded.
What made you not choose Scientology as your religion?
You know what was crazy is I could see how they get you. Because they were like so focused on my weaknesses. And one of them was like comprehension. And dude, they were like treating me like a student. They were like, oh, let's work on your comprehension. And I was like, this is cool. It's like they're trying to push like a bigger power on me. But of course, they like sell you books.
Yeah, that was the hook.
Like, and that was the hook. And at the time I was broke. They could have probably got me if I had more money. But I could also see why people like church. My mom's still into it, but she's very open-minded, especially since she's seen my point of view. She understands the hypocrisy that I point out, especially like in America, like the people that are like protecting Christianity. Man, they act so ugly to the people that are not Christians. It's just wild to me. I don't like how they like the traditional Jesus that you see is this white man with blue eyes. Like the Bible's crazy to me. It's just very machismo, man only. Like it's to me, it's silly. But I also understand why people enjoy it. They feel comfort. I mean, I had that comfort, but that like when I did something bad, you know, I pray and then it like helped me calm down. But then also the reason I'm praying is because they made me feel guilty. But I do understand the sense of community. I feel like church, cool. You know, sometimes I feel there's some broken souls that try therapy, try something else. Like, don't just rely on this man-made thing. There's this man-made creation to control people.
Do you have anything that you do in order to nourish your soul, or is just not something that you are particularly interested in? You mentioned that you could see how people nourish their spirituality and their souls through religion, and you appreciate the community that is being built by going to church and having these belief systems. And you also mentioned that you think people can do it in different ways, such as therapy. So I was asking if you, what do you do?
I guess I don't really think about that. I mean, I just believe in being a good person. I go out of my way to, the smallest things make me feel good. And I feel like I'm doing my part. My spiritual is like putting the cart back at the grocery store. If I see an old lady not being able to grab something, like, I don't care who they are, like helping others
Yeah.
makes me feel good. And I know that I'm also doing something to give back. Even recycling, and I'm just like such a small percentage. Like big companies are really the ones destroying the earth, but that makes me feel good. If I see something trash in the ground, all right, let me just pick this up, whatever. Using my blinker makes me feel good.
I agree that that's part of being a good person, and nourishing that sense of conscience and goodness that is within us. And I think those are the teachings and the lessons that you get from the Bible, the Quran, Buddhist principles. It's how do you operate in the world in a way that's going to make it better, and how are you going to engage with others that it's in a noble manner. And so the fact that you're able to do it without requiring some external greater force shows that you're a good moral person, because most people, or the argument goes, need a external greater force that imposes upon them the teachings of nobility, the teachings of morality, the teachings of being good.
Even like using the blinker on my vehicle, not just thinking about me, I'm thinking about others and communicating, even with
Hmm.
that small art. I'll even use my blinker in the parking lot. Like that small act makes me feel good because I'm
I
like,
appreciate that. Exactly.
yeah, and I wish more people would do that. Or even being self-aware, like in public.
Yeah.
There's this running trail that I enjoy. And man, there's these people that lack self-awareness. Like, I try to go as far right as I am in
Hmm.
case runners, bicyclists are. There's some people just walking towards the center, walking their dogs with long leashes, so self-centered.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of girls out here that are really religious since we're in the Bible Belt. I remember this girl telling me, she's all, you know what, Sergio? Just based on us dating, you're more Christian than I am. Even though I'm not religious, it made me feel good because I don't think I'm a hypocrite.